So, positivity and happiness. Doesn't seem like there's a lot of it about today, does there? Well, let's take a look in this video at how we can maybe get a little bit more. So, there seems to be a lot of negativity in the world today. And in fact, not just today. I think it's always been there. I think what the difference is today, as opposed to, let's say, 100 years ago, 200 years ago, is the fact that we live in a multimedia society. And so we are bombarded 24/7 with news and negative images. Now, we seem to, as humans, gravitate to negativity. We are sort of shown the bad side of life, whether it be from news channels, from Facebook, or other social media outlets, family, friends. Everyone wants to talk about the bad things that have happened. And if you notice, most people spend more time moaning or telling you about bad things. Some people seem to revel in it, and I think they need to do some work on themselves as well. So why do people gravitate towards the negative side of life? Well, you know what? I'm not even sure I can answer that. I think that because negativity and bad news seem to get more interest, that places like the media will gravitate towards showing those kind of images, those kind of stories. I mean, can you imagine a successful news channel that only has positive news stories? It's going to go out of business fairly quickly. So I think one feeds the other, and that's a downward spiral. And we don't really want to get into that. We want to be getting ourselves more positive in life. So how do we get more positive in life? How do we get happier? Well, the first thing that I'd suggest is stop watching so much negative news, okay? If there's anything disastrous going on, I mean, we'll hear about it. I'm not saying don't watch news at all. But don't get, almost addicted to it. Leave it at the front door of your own mind. When people start talking, and I'm talking about sort of news channels now, about a bad news story, take a look at the reasons why they're telling you this, because they're there to make money. Your happiness doesn't make them money. So they're going to put a spin on news stories, which is going to be negative, because that's what gets viewers, that's what gets clicks on Facebook. So just ignore most of it. And that's kind of, it sounds like it's a hard thing to do, but sorry, more mud. I'm going to work out which way to go, which is less muddy. I think this way is less muddy, although I've got to go through quite a lot of mud to get to the less muddy path. So, but that's fine. That's all part of a nice walk in England. You're always going to get rain and you're always going to get mud this time of year, and it doesn't matter, you know. So going back to the negative news channels, they won't want to give you positive news. They'll maybe give you a positive news story at the end. You know, the one, the skateboarding dog, or whatever. It'll be something fairly irrelevant. When they've given you 10 other items of doom and gloom around the world. So, like I say, just try and ignore most of that, because it will send you into a downward spiral. You'll start thinking, what can I do about it? What you know, this is a terrible situation, and you start thinking you're actually in that terrible situation. So another thing you can do is try not to engage too much in arguing with people. You may have a certain opinion on something, and they may have a different opinion. But if you keep pushing your point, if you have the mindset of, well, I'm right, I've got to win this. You know, sort of, someone's giving an opinion. I've got plenty of opinions on things, and other people have got opposing opinions. But I've learnt to let go of the paradigm of I've always got to be right and I've got to be seen to be right. Because when you do that, again, your brain goes into a sort of fight or flight mode. And generally when it's just an argument, it will normally be fights, and I don't mean with fisticuffs, and hopefully it never comes to that. But it'll be, you'll still have those same feelings. We see this a lot with people who, let's take Donald Trump for example. Now, my opinions on Donald Trump, I'm not going to give you my opinions here. I can't say I'd particularly like to spend 30 seconds in the same room as him. But then again, I don't think he's Hitler either. But you will get people that will absolutely scream and cry and shout from the rooftops that this guy is Hitler, and like I say, I mean, I'm not saying he is or he isn't. This isn't the point of that I'm making. The point being is that they have to be right. So they get themselves so worked up, and you know, you listen to these people, and no matter on what side it is, whether it's someone who loves Trump or hates Trump, they're all shouting at each other. None of them are just sitting there quietly discussing the pros and cons of having Donald Trump as president of the United States. They're all shouting at each other. They're calling each other Nazis. They're calling each other this and that. Does them no good. So don't get into these sort of arguments, you know, about anything. I mean, I'm just using Donald Trump as an example, because it's someone that we all recognise, and it has really polarised people. Brexit was very much the same. So don't let yourself get pulled into these arguments. Don't think, oh, I've got to be right and I've got to show people that I'm right. Because, like I say, that puts you into the state of mind where you have to fight. And I don't think there's many people that are in a happy state of mind while they're fighting. So this next one is going to sound incredibly bloody obvious, and it's smile. When you smile, you release endorphins, which create happiness, create a feeling of well-being. And so it sounds obvious, but not many people do it. Not many people walk around with a smile on their face, and I'm not saying go around grinning like the Joker, but if you can keep a smile on your face, even if you're smiling inside, then do so. And it'll also, if you try and carry your body up straight and walk with a bit of bounce in your step. Maybe have your headphones in. Have a happy song, one of your favourite songs, on your headphones. So just to sort of try it. In the end, you won't need that happy song and those headphones. You'll be able to do it without it. But put a happy song, walk along with that spring in your step. I mean, you know what I mean by having a spring in your step. And you will find that the reactions from other people are very different. And I know when I consciously start to walk with a spring in my step and a smile on my face, the reactions from other people are far different. People smile at me. People say hello to me. And I say hello back. And that builds up and up until you feel fantastic about yourself. There's a reason why virtually anywhere you go in the world, every culture will have their own form of dance. And this is a extension of what I've just said about, you know, smiling and walking with a spring in your step, because what's dancing? That's the ultimate spring in the step. And the reason why every culture around the world have their own dances is because it gives them a sense of abandonment. And I mean abandonment from their problems. And all you have to do is, if you go to, let's say, a wedding or a nightclub, or something like that, you'll see lots of people dancing about and smiling. Now, what it does, it just takes your cares away. And so, dance more. Even if you can't dance well, I can't dance well, I've got 2 left feet. Anyone will tell you that. But there's a saying about dance like nobody's watching. and no one really cares. No one is really watching you properly when you're dancing. So when you go to that party, when you go to that wedding, when you go to that club, spend some time just dancing. Don't worry about anyone else. Don't worry what other people are doing. You spend your time, a lot of time dancing, and you see how much better you feel. Try and make someone laugh. Try and be a little bit more jovial in yourself. Don't always be, oh, I'm down, I'm depressed. One of my hobbies is acting, and the group that I do most of my acting with, we generally do comedies, or virtually always do comedies. And there's nothing quite like hearing someone laugh at something that you've done whether on stage, you know, in this example on stage, but just in life, I tend to try and be funny. I think there's a lot of people who say I'm not very funny, but I do try, and I try and make people smile. So another thing you can do is nice things for other people, and I don't mean put something up on Facebook saying, oh look, this is terrible. What I mean is actually put yourself out, actually get out there and actually do things for people. I'm not saying, you know, grab an old lady's arm and help her across the road. You'll probably get hit with a handbag. But, you know, get involved in whether it be charity, you know, some kind of charity work, or just go and do something for someone. It could be a member of the family. It can be anything. Just do a selfless act. Doesn't have to be all the time. You don't have to do it all the time. But do it regularly. Do some kind of selfish or selfless, act regularly, and you'll find that really builds your happiness, and you will feel more positive about things. And doesn't matter the amount of gratitude you get back. Don't do it for gratitude that you're going to get back, because that means that you're trying to put your happiness in the hands of other people. Do it because you want to do it. So thank you for watching my video. I hope you've enjoyed it. I hope it's not been a little bit too garbled or anything. Please like and subscribe if you did like it, and I will see you in the next video.